Welcome back in part 2 of Fox. Anyways, let's continue this topic.
Fox survived, where Dumont another attempts to start a fourth network, had failed because it programmed just under the number of hours, defined by the FCC to legally be considered a network.
This allowed Fox to make revenue in ways forbidden to the established networks. For instance, it did not have to adhere to the financial interest and syndication rules that were in effect at the time, since during its first years it was considered to be merely a large group of stations.
By comparison, Dumont had been saddled by numerous regulatory barriers that hampered its potential to grow, most notably a ban on acquiring additional stations. During an era when the FCC had much tighter ownership limits for television stations, limiting broadcasters to a maximum of 5 stations nationwide than it did when Fox launched.
In addition, Murdoch was more than willing to open his wallet to get and keep programming and talent.
Dumont, in contrast, operated on a shoestring budget and was unable to keep the programs and stars it had. Most of the other startup networks that launched in later years, such as UPN and the WB, followed Fox's model as well.
Furthermore, Dumont operated during a time when the FCC did not require television manufacturers to include UHF capability.
To see Dumont's UHF stations, most people had to buy an expensive converter.
Even then, the signal quality was marginal at best, compared to the signals of VHF stations. See also, UHF television broadcasting section UHF versus VHF.
By the time Fox launched, cable allowed UHF stations to generally be on an equal footing with VHF stations. Although Fox was growing rapidly as a network and had established itself as a presence, it was still not considered a major competitor to the established Big Three broadcast networks, ABC, CBS, and NBC.
From its launch, Fox had the advantage of offering programs intended to appeal toward a younger demographic, adults between 18 and 34 years of age, and that were edgier in content, whereas some programs that were carried by the Big Three networks attracted an older skewing audience.
Until the early 1990s, when Fox expanded its programming to additional nights and outside prime time, most Fox stations were still essentially formatted as independent stations, filling their schedules with mainly first-run and acquired programming, and, during prime time, running either syndicated programs or, more commonly, movies on nights when the network did not provide programming.
Few Fox stations carried local newscasts during the network's early years, unlike the owned and operated stations and affiliates of its established rivals.
Those that did were mostly based in larger markets, including some of the network's O&Os, and retained newscasts that had aired for decades.
Even then, these news operations were limited to one newscast per day, following the network's prime-time lineup.
On September 6, 1990, Fox reached an agreement with TCI, the nation's largest cable company at the time, in which TCI systems, in markets that were not served by an over-the-air Fox affiliate at the time, would become charter affiliates of a cable-only national feed of the network known as FoxNet.
The cable-only network launched on June 6, 1991, bringing Fox programming to smaller markets that did not carry a default Fox affiliate at the time. And it would manage to reach a total of 1.3 million subscribers by 1992.
As Fox gradually headed towards carrying a full week's worth of programming in prime time through the addition of programming on Thursday and Friday nights at the start of the 1990-91 season. The network's added offerings included the scheduling of The Simpsons opposite veteran NBC sitcom The Cosby Show as part of Fox's initial Thursday night lineup that fall, along with future hit Beverly Hills 90210, which would become the network's longest-running drama, airing for 10 seasons, after only a half season of success on Sunday nights.
The show performed well in its new Thursday slot, spending 4 seasons there and helping to launch Martin, another Fox comedy that became a hit when it debuted in August 1992.
The Simpsons returned to Sunday nights in the fall of 1994 and has remained there ever since. The sketch comedy series In Living Color, which debuted in April 1990, created many memorable characters and launched the careers of future movie stars Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx, Damon Wayans, Marlon Wayans, Keenen Ivory Wayans, guest stars Chris Rock and Tim Meadows, and both members of the show's dance troupe, the Fly Girls, Rosie Perez and Jennifer Lopez.
The series also gained international prominence after Fox aired a special live episode in January 1992 as an alternative to the halftime show during Super Bowl 26, which was broadcast on CBS, marking the start of Fox's rivalry with the Big Three networks while popularizing the counter-programming strategy against the Super Bowl telecast.
The early and mid-1990s saw the debuts of several soap opera-style primetime dramas aimed at younger audiences that became quick hits, which, in addition to Beverly Hills 90210, included its adult-focused spin-off Melrose Place, which initially had a mediocre ratings performance before viewership rose significantly midway through its first season following Heather Locklear's addition to the cast. Its own short-lived spin-off Models Incorporated and family drama Party of Five.
The early and mid-1990s also saw the network launch several series aimed at a black audience, which, in addition to Martin, included the sitcom Living Single and police procedural New York Undercover.
Despite having a few successful shows like the science fiction drama The X-Files, Fox still lacked credibility among viewers.
Even those working in television thought of Fox as the one that has that cartoon show, The Simpsons.
More than 85% of affiliates in 1993 were UHF stations.
Fox became a viable competitor to the older networks when it won broadcast television rights to the National Football League, NFL, away from CBS.
In December 1993, Fox signed a contract with the NFL to televise games from the National Football Conference, NFC, which had been airing its games on CBS since 1956, starting with the 1994 season.
The initial 4-year contract, which Fox bid $1.58 billion to obtain, while CBS offered $295 million per year to retain the rights, also included the exclusive U.S. television rights to Super Bowl 31 in 1997.
The network also lured Pat Summerall, John Madden, Dick Stockton, Matt Millen, James Brown, Terry Bradshaw, and behind-the-scenes production personnel from CBS Sports to staff its NFL coverage. Shortly afterward, News Corporation began striking affiliation deals with, and later purchasing, more television station groups.
On May 23, 1994, Fox agreed to purchase a 20% stake in New World Communications, a television and film production company controlled by investor Ronald Perelman that had just recently entered into broadcasting through its 1993 purchase of 7 stations owned by SCI Television.
As a result of Fox acquiring a 20% minority interest in the company, New World signed an agreement to switch the affiliations of 12 stations, 8 CBS affiliates, 3 ABC affiliates, two of which were subsequently placed in a blind trust and then sold directly to Fox due to conflicts with FCC ownership rules, and one NBC affiliate that it had either already owned outright or was in the process of acquiring, from CDcasters and Argyle Communications at the time to Fox starting in September 1994 and continuing as existing affiliation contracts with their existing major network partners expired. That summer, SF Broadcasting, a joint venture between Fox and Savoy Pictures that was founded in March 1994, purchased 4 stations from Burnham Broadcasting, 3 NBC affiliates and 1 ABC affiliate. Through a separate agreement, those stations would also switch to Fox between September 1995 and January 1996 as existing affiliation agreements lapsed.
These two deals were not the first instances in which a long-time Big Three station affiliated with Fox in Miami. The affiliation moved from WCIX Channel 6 to NBC affiliate WSVN in January 1989 as a result of a complicated 6-station affiliation swap in 2 South Florida markets, spurred by NBC's purchase of CBS affiliate WTVJ Channel 4 and CBS's purchase of WCIX.
WSVN immediately attracted industry notice for featuring a news-intensive tabloid format uncharacteristic of any Fox affiliate or independent station heretofore. Within Fox Network President Lucy Salvini calling WSVN the future of television in May 1994.
WSVN remains the largest Fox affiliate in terms of market size to have entirely eschewed any prominent on-air branding with a network name.
The NFC contract, in fact, was the impetus for the affiliation deal with New World and SF Broadcasting's purchase of the Burnham stations, as Fox sought to improve local coverage of its new NFL package by aligning the network with stations that had more established histories and advertiser value than its charter affiliates.
The deals spurred a series of affiliation realignments between all 4 U.S. television networks involving individual stations and various broadcasting groups such as those between CBS and Group W, whose corporate parent later bought the network in August 1995, and ABC and VEW Scripps Company, which owned 3 Fox affiliates that switched to either ABC or NBC as a result of the New World deal, affecting 30 television markets between September 1994 and September 1996.
The 2 deals also had the side benefit of increasing local news programming on the new Fox affiliates, mirroring the programming format adopted by WSVN upon that station switched to the network, as well as expanding the number of news-producing stations in Fox's portfolio beyond mainly charter stations in certain large and mid-sized markets. With significant market share for the first time ever and the rights to the NFL, Fox firmly established itself as the nation's 4th major network.
Fox television stations would acquire New World outright on July 17, 1996, in a $2.48 billion stock purchase, making the latter the 12 Fox affiliates owned and operated stations of the network. The deal was completed on January 22, 1997.
Later, in August 2000, Fox bought several stations owned by Chris Craft Industries and its subsidiaries DHC Communications and United Television for $5.5 billion. Most of these stations were UPN affiliates, although its Minneapolis station KMSP-TV would rejoin Fox in September 2002 as an owned and operated station.
These purchases, for a time, made Fox television stations the largest owner of television stations in the U.S., a title that has since been assumed by the Sinclair Broadcast Group, one of the network's largest affiliate groups.
Fox completed its primetime expansion to all 7 nights on January 19, 1993, with a launch of 2 additional nights of programming on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The method of gradually adding nights to the programming schedule that began with the network's April 1987 primetime launch was replicated by the WB and UPN when those networks debuted in January 1995, making it the 5th broadcast network, behind the Dumont network, to air programming on a nightly basis.
September 1993 saw the heavy promotion and debut of a short-lived Western series that incorporated science fiction elements, The Adventures of Briscoe County, Jr.
However, it was the supernatural investigative drama that debuted immediately following it on Friday nights, The X-Files, that would find long-lasting success, and would become Fox's first series to crack Nielsen's year-end top 20 most-watched network programs.
After several other failed attempts at late-night programming following the cancellation of The Late Show, most notably the quick failure of The Chevy Chase Show in 1993, Fox finally found success in that time period with the debut of Mad TV on October 14, 1995. The sketch comedy series became a solid competitor to NBC's Saturday Night Live for over a decade and was Fox's most successful late-night program as well as one of its most successful Saturday night shows, running for 14 seasons until 2009.
An attempt to make a larger effort to program Saturday nights by moving Married with Children from its longtime Sunday slot and adding a new but short-lived sitcom, Love and Marriage, to the night at the beginning of the 1996-97 season, backfired with the public, as it resulted in a brief cancellation of America's Most Wanted that was criticized by law enforcement and public officials, and was roundly rejected by viewers, which brought swift cancellation to the newer series.
Married quickly returned to Sundays, before moving again to Mondays 2 months later. Both it and Martin would end their runs at the end of that season.
The Saturday schedule was revised in November 1996 to feature one new and one encore episode of Cops and a revived America's Most Wanted, America Fights Back.
Cox and AMW remain the anchors of Fox's Saturday lineup, making it the most stable night in American broadcast television for over 14 years. Both shows eventually were among the few first-run programs remaining on Saturday evenings across the 4 major networks after decreasing primetime viewership, as more people opted to engage in leisure activities away from home rather than watch television on that night of the week, led ABC, NBC, and CBS to largely abandon first-run series on Saturdays outside news magazines, sports, and burned off primetime shows that failed on other nights in favor of reruns and movies by the mid-2000s.
America's Most Wanted ended its 22-year run on Fox in June 2011 and was subsequently picked up by Lifetime before being canceled for good in 2015. Cops, in turn, would move its first-run episodes to Spike in 2013 after 23 seasons, ending its original run on Fox as the network's longest-running primetime program, leaving sports and repeats of reality and drama series as the only programs airing on Fox on Saturday evenings. During the 1997-98 season, Fox had 3 shows in the Nielsen Top 20 in terms of total viewers: The X-Files, which ranked 11th, King of the Hill, which ranked 15th, and The Simpsons, which ranked 18th, all of which aired on Sunday nights.
Building around its flagship animated comedy The Simpsons, Fox would experience relative success with animated sitcoms in prime time, beginning with the debut of the Mike Judge-produced King of the Hill in 1997.
Family Guy, the first of 3 adult-oriented animated series from Seth MacFarlane to air on the network, and Futurama from Simpsons creator Matt Groening would would make their debuts in 1999, however, they were cancelled in 2002 and 2003 respectively.
Due to strong DVD sales and highly rated cable reruns on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim, Fox later decided to order new episodes of Family Guy, which began airing in 2005.
Futurama would be revived with 4 direct-to-DVD films between 2007 and 2009 and would return as a first-run series on Comedy Central, where it ran from 2010 to 2013.
Less successful efforts included The Critic, starring Saturday Night Live alumnus John Lovitz, which Fox picked up in 1994 after it was cancelled by ABC. Only for the series to be cancelled again after its second season, and the PJs, which moved to the WB in 2000 after Fox cancelled that series after its second season.
Other notable shows that debuted in the late 1990s included the quirky David E. Kelley-produced live-action dramedy A Lie McBeal, the short-lived game show Greed, and the period comedy That 70s Show, the latter of which became Fox's second longest-running live-action sitcom, airing for 8 seasons. Throughout the 1990s and into the next decade, Fox launched a slate of cable channels beginning with the 1994 debuts of General Entertainment Network FX and Movie Channel FXN, Movies from Fox, now FX Movie Channel, followed by the debut of Fox News Channel in August 1996.
Its sports operations expanded with the acquisition of controlling interests in several regional sports networks, including the Prime Network and Sports Channel. Between 1996 and 2000 to form Fox Sports Net, which launched in November 1996, its 2000 purchase of Speed Vision. Later Speed Channel, which was replaced in the United States by Fox Sports 1 in August 2013. However, it continues to exist in other North American and Caribbean countries as Fox Sports Racing. And the launches of Fox Sports World, later Fox Soccer, which was replaced by FXX in September 2013, and Fox Sports en Español, now Fox Sports, in the early 2000s. We will continue about Fox in part 3, so stay tuned.